All right, y'all. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark of the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And with that being said, without further ado, we are going to get into this tier list. Let me mix up these names real quickly just to try to give us a better mixture of cards on the list so that we're not just looking at opals and opals all in a row and then pink diamonds all in a row and then diamonds all in a row, for example. Let's just try to mix this up as best as we can, and we'll go from there. So yeah, with that being said, if y'all haven't already, I already said that actually, never mind. Let me know who y'all's point guards are right now, who you're really liking, who you're maybe disliking a little more, just how you're feeling about the point guard position. And yeah, we'll start off. First point guard on the list, I guess we'll rank is Dark Matter Dwayne Wade. Is D Wade top 5? I think there's a very serious argument yes, and there's an argument no as well. The jumper is not great. The fade is very good. The movement is not great, but it is not awful. He is very fast and absolutely elite defensively. He gets amazing defensive animations. The card is legitimately top tier on the defensive end of the court. His fade is incredible. A lot to like about the card. With that being said, is it enough to overcome a mediocre jumper and not elite SIGs? And I think I'm going to leave the answer as yes for now, but my opinion might change as the video progresses, is what I will say. Sidney Moncrief, elite level defender, not quite there offensively, lower 3-ball rating, does have a good fade and a pretty good jumper, and he's solid as a slasher. I mean, usable card, no doubt. Still, he's very much a competitive level card still. I just don't think he's great, is the honest truth. And I think A tier is where I'm going to put. I mean, he's good. I don't know. It depends what you consider great, because I think you can make the argument he's great. He's just not S tier, top of the top elite. But he is a very good card. There's no doubt about that. Rajon Rondo, he's undersized. He's not a great slasher, but he is a very good defensive point guard. Very, very good. And his jumper's smooth. I don't think he's D tier. He is not great by any means, but I do not think he is in the lowest tier is what I will give him. And I think C tier is probably a fair spot for him. Lonzo is my favorite of all the budget PGs. I really think he's very good. With that being said, we only got about 32 of these cards on this list. He's not an elite playmaker. He has very good size and very capable slashing, but not unbelievable slashing. Jumper is super smooth defensively. He's high level. Like, card is super solid. I think low A or high B is pretty fair. Honestly, either one would probably be all right. I'm going to, I think, go A, but he might be like the lowest card in A tier. I think is probably a pretty fair way to say it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I am still going to give the benefit of the doubt and go right on the borderline of S tier. I'm probably going to have about 6 guys in the S tier. I think Shai is one of those 6. I love his jumper. I like his movement. His escape's good. His dribble style is good. He finishes well around the rim. His standing dunk is very high level. Defensively, he could be a little better. The ratings as a whole could probably be a little better, but I still really like the card. I love the size. I like the animations. I think he's very, very good. Ja Morant, I'm going B tier. Y'all aren't going to agree with this. That's okay. His SIGs aren't good enough. Plain and simple. He's a 6'3" point guard who does not have high level movement. At the end of the day, I cannot overcome that and rank him super duper high. I think he's a solid card. No doubt about it. He's very fun to use. He's an elite slasher and his jumper's good, but he does not have top tier movement, and his release, I mean, his release is very good, but his size is a flaw. I think B tier is the right spot for him. Chauncey Billups, best freaking defensive point guard in the game, I swear. Not actually, but like for his height, he really is. He plays so much defense, it's insane, and I don't know why. But offensively, he can't really dunk, and he also has a very baited jump shot. It limits the card. I still don't think I'd quite go D tier, but I'm not far off of it. And honestly, there is, I think, a real argument to be made that he is D tier. I'm looking at the rest of the cards on this list. There's only a couple that I think are actually worse than Chauncey. I'm sorry, I'm going D tier with him. I changed my mind. Jalen Brunson, better than some of the other short point guards, but still not great, I guess is what I will say. I don't love the card. I wish he was better athletically. I wish he was bigger. His jumper's really nice. His movement's good, but I do wish he was better athletically, and I do wish he was bigger. He's like a John Wall who's smaller, not as good defensively, and can't dunk, but has similar animation, similar release, but he's certainly not an amazing card. I really think C tier's probably right. I think that's the fairest spot for him. Zach LaVine's going to go S tier to me. Unbelievably elite slasher and shooter, has decent, not great movement, but pretty good. And like his animations besides the movement, like his release, all that type of stuff, his dunking animations are insane. And defensively, he's much better than people give him credit for as well. I think he's probably top 3 at the point guard position or so right now. Really good card, definitely deserves to be high up. Marcus Smart, really high level defender, a little bit more undersized than Lonzo. That's the main reason I like Lonzo a little more than Marcus. I have Lonzo above Marcus in my top 10 as well. I had Lonzo at 10 back then. I'm not sure he'd still be top 10 at point guard from when I made that list, but either way, I don't know. I think I'd rather have Lonzo over Marcus and Ja. The size factor matters to me, and Smart's good, great defender, good slasher. pretty good jumper as well. Like viable, solid card, no doubt about it. Just not God tier, I guess is what I'll say. Not a bad option at all though. And I think B tier is probably right for him. I might wind up moving Lonzo down to match. Gary Payton, elite defender, not great movement, not a great slasher either, but not a horrible slasher. He's got decent size. Card's pretty good. I don't think he's, again, God tier, but like he's not bad. I feel like C tier at this point is pretty fair, considering he's been out for quite a while as well. I do think that like he has great longevity of a card because he came out pretty early in season 1. The card's been out for a while and he's still very solid. Cade Cunningham, obviously to me, is a top tier PG. I have him in the S tier as well. Very, very good card. A card without really very many, if any, flaws. I mean, the only flaw he really has is that he doesn't have a good fade. That's about it. Jumper's nice. Movement besides the fade is pretty darn good. Slashing wise, he's solid. He's got enough size. He's got a big player build. Defensively, he's not bad once he's badged. Like overall, really solid card. And the only real issue is that fade. Everything else is really good. I'm gonna go Oscar at S tier. I think I got to, because the thing about Oscar is, the jumper's nice. He gets every badge. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So he's got decent size. Stats are incredible. Nothing about him is like crazy, but I do think he's actually very solid. And I really have no issues with him in all honesty at the point guard position. He's not like the best card in the game, but he's definitely solid. Monta Ellis has awesome stats and badges. Animation wise, not quite as good. I don't love his jumper. He's only 6'3". He's usable. He's not amazing. I do think realistically, I'm probably going to put him, I think because he's got such good stats, I am actually going to put him in the B tier. Low B though. He's not a card I'd really recommend. I wish his jumper was a little better, but he is not bad. No, I lied. I think with the way the jumper is, he's only 6'3" too. I'm sorry. I'm going C tier. He's not that good. Derrick Rose, also going C tier. He's a worse Ja Morant. Jumper's not nearly as good. Doesn't have God tier animations. Not an incredible slasher. I mean, he's a very good slasher, sorry, but not an incredible shot creator and not an incredible defender. Fine card, but honestly not great. His jumper's not that good. I think C tier is probably right. James Harden's going to go B. Doesn't have much by way of movement, but he does have an incredible jumper and really good size, which helps out a lot. Card is solid, not amazing. B tier feels right. Russell Westbrook, I actually want to put D tier, and I'm not trolling, but I think that'd be kind of troll, despite the fact that I don't love everything about him. I do think he's a very, very solid card. His jumpers, it's not very good, and you can't really rhythm shoot with it. Movement's okay, not great. He's really, really great as a slasher, but realistically, he's C tier, and I can't go any higher than that. LaMelo Ball, definitely taking guys like Lonzo over him, 100%. His jumper is really good, but very similar to Harden. Doesn't have much by way of movement, and he's also not an elite defender. They're very similar cards in all honesty. I think B tier for both. Luka, I'm sorry, I'm finally going D tier with him. His jumper is just not good enough. He's not a good enough defender. He's my favorite player in the freaking league, but he's just not that good in 2K, and I think he really does go in the bottom tier. Like, I'm not trolling when I say that. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, probably similar to Monta Ellis, better jumper than Derrick Rose, but similar card, a little bit smaller. Like, good wingspan helps the card out. I still would go C tier. I'm not super high on him at this point because of that lack of height more than anything else. Realistically, he's not a god. He's not bad, but he's not amazing either. Devin Booker's going to go A tier for me. Great shot creator, not horrible defensively, not horrible as a slasher. Fun to use, really good jump shot. Not quite S tier to me, but not that far behind either. Really, really good card. Definitely viable. Jason Kidd, I'm going B tier. I do not love that card. He could definitely be better overall is what I will say. He's only got a 75 driving dunk. His jumper's not that good. His sigs aren't that great. He's only 6'4". Like, his defense is amazing. His stats and badges are pretty good. But again, I wish he was a better slasher. Wish the jumper was a little better. Those two things would elevate the card, but as is, I got to go B. Magic, I'm going to go C. The only reason Magic holds on to C is because he's bigger than Luka, and I think he is a little better defensively overall as well, especially with that size. So I think C for him, Luka, and D is probably fair. I am going to move Rondo down, though. Doesn't have enough athletic ability or elite shooting ability. I don't think the defense really saves him. I am going to move him down. Drew Holiday goes A tier for me. Really good card. A little bit underrated at this point, considering he's been out for a while. I think he gets overlooked by some of the newer, flashier cards, but elite defender, very smooth jumper, not bad as a slasher, has a great fade. Normal fade's really good with his upper to the right anyway. And I like the card. I think he's very, very solid. Larry Hughes, I have not used him yet, but on paper, he looks like a B tier card, so I'm going to go with that. Stats and badges for Monta Ellis are better, but Larry is bigger. Larry is more versatile. Larry is, I think, better defensively. I think overall, this Larry Hughes card is actually very, very good. And I think B tier is totally fair for him. He is a viable option for sure. John Wall, you're going to go in the A tier, not quite S tier. He's real close. If he had slightly better SIGs, I'd have him S tier. I really would. But as is, the jumper is so fast that it can kind of be a little bit tough to green, and that's not a joke, and I really do mean that. Defensively, he's not bad, but he does not feel quite as big. Player build wise, he has the last couple of years. He's only 6'3". His jumper's very fast, which can be very good, and he is an incredible slasher and has decent movement, but I still think I'd go A tier for him at this point. He's not great. He's not bad, but he's not great. Gilbert Arenas, I'm sorry, you're going to that same C tier conglomerate. I feel like we have a lot of C tier cards, but I feel like we deserve to have a lot of C tier cards. These guys are not special, but they're all fine at something. Gilbert's a good shooter, has mediocre-ish movement. He's not a great shot creator by any means. He's not an incredible defender, but he's not a bad card. He'll get the job done. Penny Hardaway at S tier is my favorite point guard in the game, personally, with that Darius Garland dribble style, with a jumper that I think people hate on a little bit more than they should, especially considering he's 6'7", and he's a very good slasher with a 90 driving dunk. Overall, realistically, really good card. I think he is S tier to me. Dwayne Wade. The normal Dwayne Wade has the same stats and animations as the Pro Pass D Wade, but he does not have the release on very quick. In fact, it is on normal, which is really crappy, and he does not have as good of movement. I think this card is trash. He's not D tier trash, but he is C tier trash. I'm not kidding. I think he's that bad. I really do not like the card. And again, I think I'm going to move Jalen Brunson and Derrick Rose down as well, just to balance out this list a little bit, because I feel like it needs it. And those two to me feel like they're the weakest cards in the C tier in terms of size, defense, animations, all that type of stuff. I mean, Brunson has the lack of size. D Rose has the lack of an elite jumper as an undersized card, so I don't love him. Jerry West, honestly, jumper's a little better this year. His upper's definitely better than it was last year. He's overall a good shooter. He's got a nice behind the back. He's very good defensively. He's actually very solid. Back of B feels fair. Definitely a viable enough option though. Steph Curry. If I have Brunson in D tier, so do I have Steph. Just honestly, I mean, the thing about Steph is like, he's fine, but he's not a great shot creator. He's not an elite defender. He's not an elite slasher. He's undersized. He's got a small player build. He's just not that great. And so look, he can be fun to use the Curry escape and a fast jump shot. Overall, he's not super elite though. I think D tier is probably the right spot for him, honestly. And then finally, we got Alex Caruso, who again provides that 6'5" slashing defensive point guard. Worst version of a guy like Marcus Smart, but still very, very good and very comparable. Definitely still a very viable option in the B tier. And I think he is going to be our final B tier selection for the video. So I will say I'm going to move, I think I'm going to move Marcus Smart up, and I'm tempted to move Ja up too, just because Ja is so fun to use. Like, I have John Wall high A, Ja low A feels okay to me. Ja's more fun to use than almost any other short PG. I think Ja has to go in the A tier. I think this is a good list. So let me know in the comment section down below what y'all think of this list. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.